Hi there, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, thank you so much for clicking on this video. In today's video, Jeffree Star has responded. You heard that right, Jeffree Starfish has responded. And we're gonna just get straight into this video. It was only 10 minutes, what was it? 10 minutes and 37 seconds. And I was like, okay, this just seems like he's milking it for ads. There's no ads in it, I can tell you that. But within 10 minutes and 37 seconds, how do you expect someone to apologize for all the things he needed to acknowledge? You don't. So we're gonna dive into it and we're gonna get started right now.
We've been dancing for so long under the stars. I feel that the grass will cut through my skin.
I'm gonna begin with his posture in the beginning of the video. Not the beginning of the video, the entire video. First off, how you sit like that for that long, because you know there's some cuts and edits in that video. We don't know how long he really sat there for. That's just uncomfortable. Not only is it uncomfortable, but him just sitting there with his legs up and his pink Jeffree Star merch robe and his whatever brand socks he had on screams unbothered to me. I just definitely feel like he could have gone at it in a more subtle way. And honestly, in my opinion, if he would have came on camera with a normal background, but we all know Jeffree Star can't just be like normal. I guess normal to him is that, but just plain stuff, no makeup, no wig, and came out and was trying to be truthful with us, I'd hear him out, I think. I wouldn't accept the apology. I wouldn't think differently of him, truly, but I'd hear him out. He pretty much starts the video out with talking about the amount of time he hasn't been on social media. He's been MIA. He's had a lot of time to reflect on himself, and I'm just kind of like, but it wasn't that much time. Like, truly, I think it's been a couple weeks, maybe a month or so, since all this kind of reopened. The whole drama Carmageddon thing has reopened again. So it hasn't been that much time to reflect on everything he's truly done. I mean, he had years to reflect on himself before he said what he said about Jackie Ina. So yeah, in one ear, out the other with that comment. He then goes on to talk about all the times he just blurts out things. He says he goes and he talks out of frustration, anger, his emotions. He just grabs his phone and starts talking about how he feels. And I mean, if we're gonna be completely honest, let's just call it what it is. If not calling him a racist, then I will call him a bigot. And not only that, but he's also someone who is hurt seeing a 19-year-old person do better, you could say, than him. But all of that leads him to say what's on his mind. He gets hyped up, whether it's sending voice notes around to people or texting a 19-year-old person telling them that they are a danger to society. It's just really weird when you really think about how old Jeffree Star is compared to James. While watching this video, seeing him sit there, how extravagant everything is, it made me realize, like, I don't want that. I want Jeffree to come out and talk to us, the viewers. I don't want Jeffree Starfish and his persona coming out here. Hi, how are you? I don't want any of that. I know that I cannot be the only one thinking about his hair this whole time. That if it were to simply just mix in together, it'd be like honey mustard or something, like ketchup and mustard combining, and that's all I could think about throughout the whole video. But we're not talking about appearances here. I just thought it was funny. I'm not trying to like rag on him or something. I just thought it was funny that I was thinking about honey mustard. Jeffree Starfish starts to go on about his video he made last year, never doing this again. And he was like, and I meant that, every word I said. But it's like, if you meant that though, why do you go on multiple podcasts talking about the situation and bringing it up so many times, doing the documentary with Shane and kind of bringing the drama back up again? Why? You're 30. So you should have been done with this and never wanting to do this again, but you let yourself get dragged back into all the hype and all of that. And it's so weird because he acknowledges it, that he was dragged into the hype and all of this. I wouldn't use the word dragged in, but he was in the hype and he got lost in it. And it's like, but why? Because you're a 30-year-old man. Why is the hype that you're getting lost in hype surrounding a 19-year-old person? Weird. He goes on to talk about the fact that during this amount of time of him not being on social media, he's realized why he's done certain things that he's done in the past, but then he doesn't go on to tell us why. And my personal opinion is, if you're trying to make people understand you, you're trying to apologize for things, I would think that you would explain yourself thoroughly. And I get it, I can't be the one to be like, Jeffree needs to go out there and just spill all the tea on his past, but you definitely would think that he could take the time, longer than 10 minutes, to acknowledge James, Shane, Jackie, Tati, Trisha, Rich Lux. I mean, I don't know if we care too much about him addressing Rich Lux, but Trisha, Morphe, all of these things, his racism, we need those things addressed, and that's just not going to be addressed in 10 minutes, like I said. And of course he brings up his lawyers, because who is Jeffree Starfish without bringing up his lawyers? And I hate it how he could just change his voice so quickly. And I'm not trying to be a hater, but I hate it. And I know actors do that. Like, again, it's so manipulative to me, I feel like, where he's like, my lawyers are involved, I'm not going to talk about it because they will. And it's like, I feel like on TikTok that, I don't know if it's effect, but where you see the videos and people are being like blasted away, I feel like I was blasted away when his voice changed so fast. After that, he goes on to talk about the fact that he has impulse control and giggles, and then starts to say that he knows he's the problem right now pretty much, but doesn't tell us how he's gonna go about becoming the solution or changing his ways of being the problem. And it just goes back to what I said earlier. I would really appreciate an apology video, and you also telling your viewers how you plan to change. Because with all this time of you being silent, you had time to sit there and think of ways you can lift up the community, lift the voices of people you've hurt, and all of these things. But instead you chose to make a 10-minute video that lightly touches on a couple things, 30 seconds of an apology for James Charles, and then at the end you're kind of advertising your brand. And with the impulse control, it is more than that. It's racism, it's talking behind your friends' backs when you're paying for them to come out to hang out with you, and talking about your friend's present who bought you something at a really expensive store, but they bought you the cheapest thing at this really expensive store. It's all of these things, and it's not impulse control. It's being a shitty person, honestly. He talks about how he never thought about how his words and his actions could affect people. And to that, I say, you've been an influencer for years. Why aren't you thinking about the way you're affecting people and the things you're saying? Where's his PR team? Like, does he have a PR team? Who wrote this too? Jeffree Star goes on to call everything that happened with James Charles last year the situation. And I just don't know who told this man to put air quotes around that, because it's just not it. He then goes on to say that he wasn't trying to take anyone down. He's not the evil villain in this. But by the looks of it, I don't know. It's just like, to me, if he had the proof, if he had this voice memo of someone coming out and saying that James Charles did something, you would think either A, he takes it to James Charles to see if it's true, or B, he takes it to the police to have it investigated. So I just don't know. He apologizes to Jeffree Star, and let me tell you, it lasted 30 seconds. And he didn't say, like Tati did, if he apologized to him behind the scenes, which I really want to know, because like I said, his apology to James in this video is 30 seconds. It was trash. So I'm hoping he reached out to him behind the scenes and apologized better than that, because that was just not an apology. Jeffree then goes in to talk about the fact that he had a lot of people telling him things about James pretty much, and that kind of shook me up, because Tati is saying that Shane and Jeffree fed her a bunch of stuff about James. So it's like, who possibly could be feeding stuff about James to Jeffree then? Because it's not going to be Shane. Shane doesn't really know James like that. So was it Tati? but Tati said it's Jeffree. So I don't know. He tries to say that pretty much everyone, including James Charles, would agree with him that there are so many more things going on in the world right now compared to this petty drama. One, it's not petty. They started it, I believe, and it truly affected this 19-year-old man. So, one. Two, I agree with him that there are bigger things for us to worry about, but the fact that he's trying to use the pandemic and the Black Lives Matter movement as a way to steer us away from him, I did not like that. And on top of that, the Black Lives Matter movement ties in with Jeffree because he said some real racist things. So, I mean, we can multitask and we can stay focused on you just like we can stay focused on this movement at the same time. Jeffree continues to ramble on and he says that the beauty drama and all of that used to be entertainment to him, but because on the outside of our walls, the world is collapsing pretty much in front of all of our eyes, it's not entertainment to him any longer. And to that, a couple things. Last year, the world wasn't in such a situation as it is right now. So when you were dragging him last year and hyping everyone else up to do as well, was that entertainment to you? And also, just something small, but like he mentioned, the world is collapsing in front of our eyes. We don't know what to do. We're in a pandemic. There's a virus with no cure, no vaccine. But for Jeffree Star to be trying to act like, you know, this is truly affecting him, maybe it is, I don't know. Whatever. It's the fact that he has so much money. And let's be honest, if he were to get sick, or anyone near and dear to his heart got sick, he has that money to help them out, help himself out in the hospital, wherever he needs. Maybe he needs in-home care. He has that money to do so. Unlike a lot of us who don't, and a lot of the people who he has hurt with his words. Jeffree says that he's not going to speak on this again, so let's just see how long this lasts, because last time he said that, he spoke on it again, so let's see. After he talks about the whole James and Tati subject, he goes on to talk about everyone who still has not received justice. So Elijah, Breonna Taylor, and it was like gut-wrenching to me. It just did not sit right with me. I feel like someone wrote that in his script or told him, like, Jeffree, I think you need to mention these people so people can sympathize for you. They can see that you're a good man. You see what's going on in the world and you're trying to bring attention to it. I just don't know. It felt weird being placed in this type of video, especially when half of the things he was supposed to acknowledge in this video he didn't acknowledge, but chose to say certain things like this to kind of make us think that he's a good person. But don't get me misunderstood, because justice needs to be served. I appreciate that he mentioned it with his platform that he has, but he also didn't mention anything about linking anything in the description. He didn't link anything in the description. So if he truly felt like justice needed to be served, you think he would add some simple links down below, like I do in all of my videos since I've been uploading during all of this. Nothing in this video sat right with me. He says something around the lines of like all these celebrities or whatever, people living their lives while people are being killed for no reason, and they're just going on about their day, living their lives. And that part was interesting to me because it's kind of like, but that's literally you. You posted the other day that you were going on a trip with your grandma to take her to her house, her old house, which we don't even know if that's true. And then there was a photograph of you with some fans, and then a video that you were in of someone else's. So it's like you're literally doing that, but you're calling yourself out, whatever. After that stunt, we'll call it, he goes on to talk about Shane, his best friend. He didn't call him family, I don't think, but Shane called him family. There's nothing to speculate with that, but just pointing that out. He talks about Shane, and it lasts longer than his apology to James. Of course it does. And he goes on to say pretty much that he was shocked that people thought that he would start distancing himself from Shane because they were best friends. And I'm like, but you said in the beginning of the video that you weren't watching people's videos or paying attention to this. So how do you know that people thought you were gonna distance yourself from him? unless he has people watching videos for him and reporting to him. Ooh, girl, you got something going. While talking about Shane, he says that he hopes that the collaboration they did inspires people because he was once homeless and working in the mall. And I'm sorry, I mean, I understand him, but again, it's just not the right place to put this in. I feel like it's all stuff to make his viewers and his his hardcore subscribers still be there for him, because some people can kind of be rattled out of it, of supporting him, but he might have been able to get some people to stick around after this video, and I hope this video does not do what he hopes it does. I wish he would acknowledge why he chose a black guy to be in his last video. I just think it's a coincidence, let's say, that all of this is being talked about and he decides to make one video during all of this, and it's with a black man. I just wish he would acknowledge that. Even if that's not what his intentions were, at least say that. I don't know. At the very end of the video, it all just seems like a promotion, an ad for his makeup line, and I don't see any reason for his makeup line to be mentioned in this video, except for earlier on in the video he talks about how inclusive his line is, and since the start of his company he's had black people in his advertisements and stuff, so that I can understand why he's talking about that. But at the end, him just talking about his company and there's so much more to be coming at the end of the year and that August is going to be the next launch date, it's just like, I don't care. Like, that's not what I'm here to watch. That's pretty much it to his video. Like I said, it was 10 minutes and 30 seconds. It just was a trash video. The apology was trash. It wasn't even really for everything we're trying to have him understand. Morphe did not kick him off because of James. And he did not really acknowledge the reasons why Morphe kicked him off. He just is trying to say he was in a dark place and it's a new chapter. Like, damn, bro, how many chapters are in this book? Like, how long is this book? He turned off the comments on his video, and I did watch Luke Alexander's live, and someone in there said that when he initially posted it, the comments were on, and later on he turned the comments off. So it's like, dude, why? You're not trying if you're not open to hearing what people have to say. Is he gonna change? I guess we'll have to wait a couple months and see for ourselves. I don't know. I have no idea. I can tell you, I personally don't think he has. That is it, guys. That is it until the next update in this entire thing. I hope you guys liked it. I don't know, enjoyed the juicy tea. Make sure, if you did enjoy the juicy tea though, that you like down below, you subscribe, and make sure you ring that bell so that you're notified every time I upload. Peace out.
I've seemed to prolong our existence, but